Good morning, 8th grade math students, and welcome to virtual math class. Today, we're going to be talking about solving for the hypotenuse of right triangles using the Pythagorean theorem. Our objective for today is the students will be able to use the Pythagorean theorem to solve for the hypotenuse of a right triangle. Woohoo! And jumping right on into our first example. So remember that the Pythagorean theorem states that a squared plus b squared equals c squared. And in this case, I am given two of my side lengths and I'm not given c. So which one of these would be a and which one would be b? It actually doesn't matter which one is a and which one is b. So I'm just going to use 16 for a and 12 for b. So I have 16 squared plus 12 squared equals c squared. So now I need to figure out what 16 squared is. 16 squared is 16 times 16, and that is 256. And then 12 squared, what is 12 squared? 144, and that is equal to c squared. Now, I can still simplify on this side because I can do 256 plus 144. And that equals 400. So now I have that 400 equals c squared. And what is the opposite of squaring? Taking the square root. Hopefully you remember that from the last video. So that cancels out, and I'm left with c equals. What is the square root of 400? Or what number multiplied by itself equals 400? 20, because 20 times 20 equals 400. And that is what c equals. You can go ahead and plug this back in to check yourself, but I'll let you do that on your own. Next example. So again, I am not given c. So remember the Pythagorean theorem. I always start with a squared plus b squared equals c squared. And does it matter which one is a and b? No, it doesn't. So I have 9 squared plus 12 squared, or you can do 12 squared plus 9 squared. Either way, you'll get the same answer. So now 9 squared. What is 9 squared? 81, because that's 9 times 9. And then again, I have 12 squared, and that's 12 times 12, which is 144, and that is equal to c squared. Now I have 81 plus 144. And what is 81 plus 144? That equals 225. So now I have 225 equals c squared. And now what is my final step going to be to solve this? To take the square root of c. So when I take the square root, I have to, whatever I do to one side, I have to do to another, remember? So the square and the square root cancel each other out because that's inverse operations. Now the square root of 225 is 15. So c equals 15. Last example that I'm going to walk you through step by step, and then you'll do one more on your own. So what do I start with? The Pythagorean theorem, a squared plus b squared equals c squared. And again, it doesn't matter what you use for a and b. So you can do 6 squared plus 8 squared, or you can do 8 squared plus 6 squared. It doesn't matter. So 6 squared plus 8 squared equals c squared. Now I'm ready to get rid of those squares. So 6 squared equals 36. And what does 8 squared equal? 64. Fantastic. And that is still equal to c squared because I don't know what c squared is. What do I do now? 36 plus 64. And what is 36 plus 64? That equals 100. So now I have 100 equals c squared. This one hopefully is a little bit easier than the others to just recognize. So the opposite of squaring is to take the square root because I need to do the inverse operation. Those cancel each other out. So I have c equals, and what is the square root of 100? 10. Good job. So c equals 10. And again, feel free to check your answers by plugging c back in and seeing that a squared plus b squared really does equal c squared. And this one, I want you to try to do it on your own. I'll work it out still to show you, but try to figure this one out on your own. So what does c equal in this case? So I'm going to pick up right here and work the rest of it with you. So we had a squared plus b squared equals c squared. We plug in 5 and 12 for a and b. 5 squared is 25. 12 squared is 144. When I add those together, I get 169 equals c squared. So now my final step is to do what? To take the square root of both sides. And some of you maybe already know the answer and you just got it. But if not, take the square root of 169. The square root of 169 is 13. So c equals 13. I hope all of this makes sense. If it doesn't, please let me know. You guys have been doing really great with the Pythagorean theorem so far, so I've been impressed. So keep up the good work. And like I said, if you have questions, please let me know.